over into conference play.
The thought of flying home and getting some cooking from mama as a player always ensures that you give a really good effort at this point of the season. So Oregon 6-6 so far in non-conference play. Some up and down results from their offense, but obviously a spirited effort against Baylor. And tonight, a chance to tip it off against the Waves here as the Ducks get the tip, and it goes to Young. The officials tonight, Bill Vinovich, Mark Beasley, and Jeff Wooten. And Fali Dante getting the start was a game-time decision, but looking solid down low. Tries to muscle it out of the way, but then the quick turnover as Fisher didn't dribble the basketball.
Well, that's good defense, though, by Pepperdine. I thought they did a really nice job of getting in and slapping down on the dribble. You've got to really make your move. You know, you're not going to get a lot of time down there. Oregon's very quick, and they're able to get down there and bother the post player.
Pepperdine 5-8. They have won 3 straight games. Their schedule has started to even out after some tough matchups as Guerrier in and out with the left, tries to follow it up. No good on the second attempt. Rips it away, but then they're going to call a travel on Guerrier. So back-to-back travels to get this game started.
I think both teams a little tight, Jordan. I think that's understandable. You're coming both teams out of finals, a little bit of a layoff, so it's going to take a while, but it's defensively that you've got to get your team really ready to play.
There's Zedek firing the 3. He's just fortunate to have his gear. They lost his bag during the trip here to Eugene, had to wear some Oregon shoes during shoot-around, so he's back in some familiar footwear.
Not a bad thing.
Here's Young up top, 14 to shoot, kicks it over to Richardson. Harmon, as we mentioned, the 18 points against Baylor. Shot clock winding down. Young has to go one-on-one. Crossover to the left. Tough shot off the glass.
That's a really tough shot. The shot clock winding down. Really seemingly nowhere to go, but Jacob Young gets to the rim and finishes.
Jacob Young averaging 9 points per game. The transfer from Rutgers. Older brother Joe Young, former Oregon Duck and Pac-10 Player of the Year when he was here at Oregon. Here's Mallet inside to Zedek. Zedek, a few options, fades away. Rebound to Guerrier. The quick hands by Pepperdine once again, their second steal. So Young a little careless coming down in transition. Fisher, he can shoot the 3, and Fisher cashes in.
And he will shoot it. That's good range, and I thought really good job by Pepperdine of moving the basketball. Ball didn't stick. I think every player on the team touched at that possession.
Fisher just a 21% three-point shooter on the season. Happy to see that one go through as Pepperdine captures the lead here in the early going. Young penetrating. Harmon, he'll fire from the corner. Mitchell, transition 3. In and out, but there is Fisher fighting for the board and nearly fouled. Is fouled, nearly gets the and-one opportunity as he heads to the line.
There's a challenge you can see when the shot goes up, and here's a three-point look again. Wide open 3, but when the shot goes up, the challenge tonight's going to be for Oregon to go get on the glass because they've been a historically very good rebounding team, Jordan, but what they haven't done this year, they have not defensive rebounded. They only get 25 a game, and what does that put them? That's in 310th in the country. That's really a low percentage. So not characteristic of a Dana Altman team.
And that's something Dana Altman always stresses is defensive rebounding because he feels offensive rebounds, one of the 4 categories that are considered easy points for the other team, along with free throws, three-pointers, and transition buckets. And you know as a coach that you've got to close out that possession.
Well, that's something that they're going to work on, but I think as the year goes on, you're going to see some improvement.
Dante working his way inside, and the fancy footwork results in a 2.
Well, I like the big fella to the basket. They've made a concerted effort to go in early, and they, other than the travel there, they're going to pay some dividends. But he's got some range. You're going to have to bring, I think, a second defender down there.
See the 3/4 court press that Oregon throws out just to slow down Pepperdine. Dana Altman saying he uses the press because, well, no one else really does it. So you want to throw out something different. Here's Zedek, catch and shoot 3. That's off, but then we have a couple of bodies colliding. Looks like it'll be Fisher whistled for the foul.
I got news for you. He uses that press for another reason because it works. It works very well, but here you can see again, there's Here's the move to the basket. I just really like the footwork, the range. That's a tough cover, one-on-one in down low.
Dante, of course, tearing his ACL last season, just a handful of games into the season, made his return to the lineup back on November 16th against BYU, and a huge part of Oregon's interior presence this season. Here's Dante again, this time working at the short corner, poked away yet again, so Pepperdine forcing another turnover.
Well, that's a tough area to operate from.
Mallet, the corner three.
Yeah, there is the freshman from Bay Area, from Alameda, and I've known the young man for a long time, known his father, and get into that later, but he's a good-looking freshman, I can tell you that.
Guerrier can't answer. Mitchell, the other freshman of this young backcourt for the Waves. Mallet, not bashful about another attempt, off on that one. Harmon trying to hit Guerrier up ahead in transition, and that is the 4th turnover for the Ducks in less than 5 minutes of action. Mitchell challenging Harmon. Dante comes crashing down and then whistle for the travel. So another turnover for Oregon, and obviously Dana Altman going to want to tighten that up. As we take our first break, Oregon and Pepperdine so far, the young guns for the Waves leading the charge.
Take on the east, I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the I hear him chat with the boys, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but now keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, my girls, let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner with access to financial advice, tools, and a personalized plan that helps you build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
Advil Dual Action fights pain 2 ways. It's the first and only FDA-approved combination of Advil plus acetaminophen. Advil targets pain. Acetaminophen blocks it. Advil Dual Action. Fast pain relief that lasts 8 hours.
Pac-12 men's basketball is presented by Pacific Premier Bank, the official bank of the Pac-12. And brought to you by Jockey, the official apparel and comfort brand of the Pac-12 Conference. Look for Jockey's Made in America collection at jockey.com. And by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? First media timeout here at Matthew Knight Arena. Pepperdine leading Oregon 6-4, and Ben for the Ducks, the number that jumps out, 6 turnovers in less than 6 minutes of action.
Well, not going to please Dana Altman. That's something, again, his team doesn't do. They're going to get more shots before they turn it over. I can guarantee you that. But, you know, Dana Altman's really established such a high ceiling here. Jordan, you know that, having followed the program. And sometimes when you establish a high ceiling, you can be disappointed. But his team's been a work in progress. He said that. He's not bashful. And they're going to get better as the year goes on. His teams always do.
That has been the trademark of Dana Altman and his tenure at Oregon. Those turnarounds that typically happen around February as Fisher is fouled on the attempt. So another opportunity for the Waves to build upon their lead. And we've seen the transfer portal explode in college basketball over the last 2 years, Ben. And what is the challenge for every coach around the country when you're trying to bring in so many different pieces?
Well, it's funny. I talked to Lorenzo Romar today at practice about it. He said, look, we try to get guys that aren't going to be portal guys. They're going to be happy where they are. They're not going to be looking over their shoulder and maybe complaining about minutes or getting, you know, on the docket in terms of draft position. You know, you've got to get guys that are as well that are pretty happy to be there and be four-year guys. It's, you know, you're seeing Ivy League schools having some success now, and that's a big reason why.
Here's Young, another drive, kicks it to Harmon. Harmon trying to sidestep a would-be defender, no good, so another stop for the Waves. Here's Millette racing it down the court. Darryl Polk Jr. the senior, into the game for the first time for the Waves, along with Maxwell Lewis, another talented young freshman. Here's Fisher. Fires from the corner, no good. Richardson off to the races. Guerrier wide open up top. Now Oregon 0 for 3 from outside to start the game.
Well, they're getting some good looks, Jordan. What they're trying to do, both teams, is run in transition, trying to beat the defense down the floor and get some open looks from 3. It's a good way to get some shots off.
Zidek with the size advantage fading away, and the pretty turnaround jumper falls.
I like the big fella on that. That's a tough move, and that's something that Pepperdine's also going to do, get the ball in his hands, see if he can operate along the baseline.
6-0 run for Pepperdine over the last 2 minutes of action. Guerrier cutting back door, gets bodied by Fisher, and that'll be a foul on the floor.
You can see Oregon's got very good quickness, but you can also see here, you know, it's interesting. Pepperdine trying to establish themselves, trying to isolate down there. You don't want good defensive teams to get in a position like Oregon to make steals and bring 2 guys together. Sometimes one-on-one moves aren't a bad way to go. You get isolation and really don't bring a second defender along when you can isolate there.
Victor Obioha checking in for Pepperdine. Here's Richardson in the corner, been quiet in the early going, goes up with the left, fouled as he rises, and that'll be free throws coming.
Well, I think Dana Altman would be happy to see his team get to the foul line a little more too. That's another thing you can do if your team's not scoring as well as you'd like to score. Try to see if you can get some free looks and get in the bonus.
So Will Richardson trying to follow in the footsteps of a couple of senior guards for Oregon that found themselves drafted in the first round. You had Peyton Pritchard 2 years ago, and then, of course, Chris Duarte last year. And, Ben, that's atypical of what you see in the NBA draft. It's a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are getting their names called in the first round. What does it take for a 4-year player to get themselves in that position?
Well, you know, I've been fortunate to have a number of guys, 24 guys in the NBA, and I can tell you this, when your team's doing well, you get noticed. NBA scouts aren't just looking for your individual ability too. Can you help your team win? Can you make other guys better? Are you a character guy? There's other things to do than simply put points on the board. So it's important that you have those characteristics.
Lewis caught with a little indecisiveness. Turnover Pepperdine. Rivaldo Soares checking in for the first time, trying to feed Frank Kepnong, who's also on the floor. First bit of action for the Ducks, and that'll be Oregon ball on the baseline.
Well, I've been impressed with Pepperdine's quickness. They're not making anything easy for Oregon. They've got active hands, typical of a Lorenzo Romar team. His teams have always played with their hands and their feet. They're quick.
Ben, that is so true, because when Romar was at Washington and I was at Oregon, I remember no team pressured you on the ball more so than a Lorenzo Romar coach team.
No, he turns his back on the ball if he can. And there's, as we talk, Jacob Young, another young man. I've known him since he was a little guy, coach against his brother, Joe, when he was over. I was at Rice and he was at Houston, so we joked about that at practice yesterday. He remembers going to those games. I said, you're lucky I'm not coaching against you. I know how to stop you. You wouldn't see the ball.
5-0 Oregon run to answer the 6-0 Pepperdine run as Soares blocks that out of bounds. It'll be Pepperdine ball.
Well, you can see here's the kick out, and Joe Young is the Young family. They can shoot it. You do not want to give him open looks. You give him some open looks, he'll knock him down. A very experienced player, having played at Texas, obviously at Rutgers, really can play.
Oregon now 1 of 4 from outside. Trying to work it inside, and that is a shot clock violation as Pepperdine a little slow to get into their offense, and Coach Romar trying to clap up the troops. And Coach Romar in his 7th season with Pepperdine and 2nd stint with the Waves, and really loves this group of players he has. He's got some young talented freshmen and some wonderful leaders as Kepnong comes crashing through and whistled for the foul, but the DNA of a team.
Well, you can tell, Jordan, when he talks about his team, he's got that gleam in his eye, and, you know, he's had some awfully good players and some good young guys, but he knows this is a challenge. He's really worried about the changing defenses and playing here in Oregon. It's a different kind of challenge here.
Kendall Munson stepping on the floor for the Waves. Here is Polk Jr. that's able to hit the stop and pop jumper.
Well, that's a very tough shot. You've got to be able to take that shot against Oregon. You are not going to get to the rim against some of the long guys that Oregon has, so that's a great pull up in the lane.
Richardson, his first shot attempt of the game. Long on the 3. Young feeds it to Soares. Soares elevates for the 2.
Well, how about the pass? I thought that was a great no-look to the rim. Very unselfish play and great assist.
So the Ducks able to hit the offensive glass. Oregon with a 10-7 rebounding advantage. Fighting for this one, and it'll be Pepperdine's ball, courtesy the jump ball.
Well, there again, Jordan, the example we talked about is, you play good defense, you challenge up, and now you give up an offensive rebound. But here is on the other end. Look at the pass, the no look to the rim, and that's a good finish. So many players forget to look at the basket. You've got guys, skyscraping up there. Get in the basketball.
We'll see if Pepperdine will get into their offense a little bit more swiftly, and that is going to be a travel up top on Lewis. And Nate Biddle, the freshman, checking in, had the task of checking Lewis. After those first initial 6 turnovers, and up top to Kepnon, can't complete it. The Ducks have done a good job of protecting the basketball the last few minutes. Waves whip it around. Here's Smith, the drive, the floater, gets it to fall, and the foul. So Pepperdine putting up a fight here at Matthew Knight against the Ducks. We'll step aside here in a moment.
We'll make this simple. It's time to go and get rewarded for it. Save up to 25 cents per gallon of fuel with the My76 app. That's right, up to 25 cents per gallon of fuel. That means for every fill-up, you're saving money for your next adventure. That's a reward that keeps on going. The app is safe and secure. Plus, mobile pay offers fewer touch points during payment, so you can focus on going and saving. Download and start saving with the My76 app, so you can save more to go more. 76, we're on the driver's side.
Take a look at this. In the modern age, you've got your disruptors and your heavy hitters. Yes, we're all winners within the Conference of Champions. But at the end of the day, between the countdown of the shot clock and the surge of the smack talk, in the midst of all the crossover, there's only one team that can be on top. Only one way that the story ends. So who you got?
On a spooky Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Sheriff, come quick! Rico's about to enter the transfer portal.
Rico, you don't need to transfer.
Have you seen the latest depth chart? I'd be lucky to play it down this year.
But you're only a sophomore. There's still time.
Rico's time is now! Never really saw much upside with Rico.
Hey, anybody need a punter?
We're good.
Oh, brought Dr. Pepper.
Welcome to state!
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Pepperdine with the 13-11 advantage. Just under 12 minutes left to play in the first half, but Jacob Young starting to get the Oregon offense waking up.
Well, how about that move, the ability to hang the left-hander like his father, Michael Young, able to get the air, and he's got to get that three-point percentage up, but he's capable. He's been a pretty good shooter his whole career, and obviously Joe Young, prolific scorer that came here to Oregon, had a great career after he played at Houston. So again, just a talented family, and Dane Altman very happy to have young Jacob here, the youngest in the family.
I can imagine there were some pretty good horse battles in the driveway between those two. Here's Smith. He adds a little tip to the bill, completes the three-point play, and Pepperdine leads by 3.
Sometimes the youngest gets to be the toughest because he gets beat up. You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah. He definitely took my lumps growing up, I'll tell you that much. I had an older brother that just towered over me. Speaking of towering over the opposition, Dante with the size advantage can't get it to roll in. Here comes Smith trying to push it. Pepperdine so far with 4 steals. It's led to some opportunities in transition, but neither team lighting the nets on fire. Here's Polk Jr., kicks it back out. Smith, 8 on the shot clock, has to pick up his dribble, looking for a teammate. No release valve, has to chuck it up, and that bounces in.
Well, that used to bother me as a coach, Jordan. You play such good defense, you force up that contested shot, and what does it do? It just bleeds it in. But, you got to be pleased. That's pretty good defense, just a little better offense.
So Pepperdine with their largest lead of the game at 5, and here is another strong take by Suarez.
And that's what was worrying Lorenzo Romar today at shoot-around. He talked about Oregon's ability to get to the basket. They said they've got to keep them out of the paint. That's what they want to do, get to the rim. This team is talented, and you've got to keep them from getting 2 feet in the paint.
Lewis trying to use the screen. He'll try a step-back triple, and Lewis really dropped that one in. Oregon just 5 of 14 for 36%. This is a Pepperdine team that gives up one of the highest percentages in all of college basketball. They yield 45% shooting. That is the 308th ranked field goal defense in NCAA, but it doesn't matter as long as you can fill it up.
Well, you can tell you're a coach's son all these stats you're throwing out here.
It's all about setting the storylines.
Yeah.
Let the folks know what to watch.
You've been around it. I know you know. And, but you're right. Obviously, Jordan, you know, stats don't lie. They never do.
Here's Biddle trying to put in some work. The soft baby hook for the freshman. No good. Gets his own miss. Knocked to the floor, though.
I like the ability of the big guys, whether it's Foley and Biddle. You know, they're big, and they're missing shots now, but these shots are going to fall as the year goes on. The good news is they're getting to the rim, and their teammates are looking for them. They just got to be a little bit more, a little bit better concentration, and not come away empty, but get a foul if you can't get a basket. You got to get to the foul line.
Mitchell and Millette returning to the floor for the Waves. Here's Dante, double team, looking for a teammate. Knocked out of bounds. Oregon ball with 16 to shoot.
Well, you can see he's asking his teammates to move a little bit, give him a little space, but he's also got to make a quicker move. The ball's there. He's only about 6 feet from the basket. He's got to get that ball up and over.
Saw the double team thrown at Richardson. Finds Biddle wide open, and Biddle, the foul and the bucket.
Well, there is the completion we talked about. Big guys, it's just a matter of time. And you know this from being a player. It takes time. Big guys are always the slowest to develop, but when they get it, when they come around, boy, their progress is there. Obviously, they're going to both be very good players.
Well, with big men also, it feels like the strength of the college game is so important. You don't necessarily see that mismatch between veteran guards and freshman guards, but especially down low, it feels like just getting into the weight room and having that solid base is so important.
No, we used to lock our big guys in the weight room.
Now, did they work out in the weight room?
No, we threw the key away, and they said, Coach, we need to get out of here. It's dinner time. I said, later. Just stay in there and get stronger. But that's what you have to do, and you're 100% right. They just need to get bigger and stronger, and they will.
Here's Smith, the drive and kick. Mitchell trying to get into the lane, picks up his dribble. Zedek out on the perimeter. Dante trying to check him, feeds a pass down low. Munson goes up. Correction, Obioha goes up. And is fouled.
Dana very restrained in that. You know, you've got a couple of big 7-footers down there, and when they block a shot, you want to get credit for the shot block. But you know, a lot of times you got to go into the bodies of those guys, and if they just can get some distance, play at a little bit of arm's length, they can really be effective. Sometimes they don't need to get a block shot, Jordan. They just need to affect the shot. If they can get guys to shoot up and around, and that's something that they're going to learn in time. That not everything's got to be a block shot. Just change the shot.
Well, Oregon has 4 players capable of changing shots. How about the Tall Furs 2.0, the nickname for the 1939 NCAA Championship Oregon Ducks? You've got 4 players at 6'11" or taller for the Ducks, so a lot of size that they can go to.
As Al McGuire used to say, the all-airport skyscraper team. They look, I'll tell you, they're big, but they're going to be good players. It's just a matter of time. But you like to start with size. It's the old adage, you can't coach size, hard to get, and these guys have some size.
Pepperdine still leading by 4. Big part of that, Oregon, with a handful of turnovers, had 6 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of this game. Richardson can't get the bucket, and then he is whipped around in an offensive foul on Jody Smith. So Smith was trying to get off to the races, felt like Richardson was a little close, and it'll be Oregon ball.
Well, I like the officials who were right there. They created you know, an advantage there, and that's a, you know, when you create an advantage that way, that's a foul. So I thought the officials right on that one, and a good call, very good call.
Here's Harmon, the strong drive with the left. It's a little tied up, but kicks it over to Richardson.
Harmon like to get some space over there. He's trying to get a clear out.
Harmon, the quick drive to the right, has to put it up, bodied, solid defense, and another stop for the Waves. Oregon now 6 of 19 for 32% from the field. Zedek, the 3, off the back heel. Richardson just 2 points, whips a pass to Dante, and how about that connection?
That's just a great look by Will Richardson. I mean, just an amazing play. Had his head up the whole time, whips it around with his offhand, and just finds a big fella for an easy one. Great look.
Possibly the spark that Oregon needs to get things going offensively. Under 8 minutes left in the Ducks with just 17 points here in the first half. The steal by Harmon. Harmon trying to split 2 defenders. Euro steps through, and he is fouled. So Oregon's trying to take a little momentum and fight back into this one. Richardson to Dante for the easy 2.
Protect it today, enjoy it for years. With Walmart Protection Plans by Allstate.
Okay, Davey, good game. You gonna be on tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, see you later.
Pass it! Pass it! Yes!
You wanna play one more after this?
Yeah, one more. Got him! Yeah!
Oi! Keep it down!
No, you keep it down!
Sorry, neighbors.
I can't stand mine either.
What makes my neighborhood great? The folk, the people, always finding a way. There's a lot of talent in these streets, all grinding for an opportunity. The court is where we push each other to grow, where lessons are taught. Because when we lift each other up here, we all get better everywhere.
And that's how you change the game for good.
I said that screen. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Close game in the first half. Pepperdine with the 2-point advantage over the Ducks with 7:48 left in the first half. And let's go ahead and check out some other scores from around the conference. You see Utah getting the win at home over Fresno State. Utah Valley up over Washington in the first half. Following this game, it'll be Nicholls State at Oregon State, and then unfortunately some cancellations, as is the sporting world right now. Florida A&M, Arizona State canceled. Kansas, Colorado, that was going to be a good one. And then, of course, USC, the unbeaten Trojans, on the road against Oklahoma State. So it feels like right now, biggest thing is just being able to field a team to get on the floor.
Well, it's tough. You talk to the coaches, and obviously they're concerned about their players, their health, number one, but also getting in a rhythm and playing. And if you're getting canceled games, it's tough. But it's a phase we're going to go through. It's not going to go away, and it's going to get worse. We know that, so you just really got to take some precautions. And obviously, you don't want to suffer any setbacks. Most of these have been, have been relatively mild, but you never know. So hats off to these players and coaches who are dealing with this now.
Yet another factor that coaches have to take into consideration this season when you take a look at the transfers and everything that was interrupted in 2020, and teams just trying to do their best to maintain momentum. Moak Jr. with the drive and the dish, and Obioha with the nice finish.
Well, you talk about breaks and pauses. My biggest concern as a coach about my players is also being out and not practicing and being injured, coming back, and then your bodies aren't in shape. You're out of rhythm, and that's why you can get some injuries. So you want to just make sure your players stay in shape.
Suarez trying to connect on his third field goal, no good. But speaking of injuries, Eric Williams Jr., who was a starter for the Ducks to start the season, has been out with a nagging injury that's been lingering since the Arizona State game. And Obioha again with another bucket, so he has been leading the charge with 5 points.
He's a good-looking player. You can see a lot of pro scouts like his ability and really has some great potential.
The senior out of Nigeria has 16 points and a loss to UC Santa Barbara to go with 8 boards a few nights ago. Guerrier from the corner, no good. Here is Mitchell, the talented freshman out of San Jose. Zedek down low, and Pepperdine getting some clean looks, and that'll warrant a timeout from Dana Altman. So some issues that were plaguing the Ducks in the second half against Baylor. Some clean looks for the opposition, poking their head up here now. And it seems like, Ben, for Oregon, the shots aren't falling on offense, and that really slows down their ability to get into that press and slow down the waves.
Well, it does, but you know, you're talking about Pepperdine that's doing a nice job. That's a very unselfish play. A player giving up an 8-footer along the baseline to dump it into his teammate right in front of the rim. I think Pepperdine's doing a good job of moving the basketball. You've got to move the basketball against Oregon because they're quick. They've got active hands, and if you can, you know, the way to beat a team that's active defensively is you've got to get ball movement.
Let's get to our next team talk here as Dana Altman addresses the team. And you've got 6:25 left in the first half. You have 7 turnovers. You're shooting 32%. Clearly not the start you're looking for. What are you saying to just calm everybody down and get them on the same page?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. You've got to talk about playing more relaxed. And it starts on the offensive end when you don't turn it over. You can't have 7 turnovers because good teams are going to take advantage. Those are missed opportunities on your end. Take care of the basketball and then try to come down and get some, get some good shots, but get some stops. You're playing against a very aggressive team, and you've got to play defensively too. Even if your shots aren't falling or you turn it over, then come down and get a good stop defensively.
Deflected out of bounds, Oregon ball, 16 on the shot clock, and the Ducks have had some clean looks from outside. They're just 1 of 7 from 3, though. And then another turnover as Richardson can't get it to Harmon, so the Oregon offense still stuck in the mud here in the first half.
Well, I see a lot of one-hand catches, and you know from being a football player, basketball player, that doesn't fly. I don't care what sport you're playing. You can't go with one. Jerry Rice can.
Right.
But
no Becco.
Yeah, most of us can't. You got to go with 2 hands, and I know Dana and the staff, they're sticklers on fundamentals. They're going to talk to their team about grabbing the basketball with 2 hands. You got to be, be a receptor and just be solid with the basketball.
Mitchell to Millette. Millette spinning, falling. Both players on the floor. They're going to whistle this a jump ball. It'll be Oregon basketball. And going back to these 2 freshmen for Pepperdine, Millette and Mitchell, you look at the amount of playing time they're getting right now. A lot of freshmen don't see double-digit minutes early on in their careers, and it feels like they're getting so much experience, and Lorenzo Romar said he's already seeing the change in their game and seeing the decision-making start to improve, not even 15 games into their first season.
Well, they can play relaxed because they know they're not going to come out if they make a mistake. They can play through some of their mistakes. That's the beauty of playing young guys and giving them time.
Harmon with a little string music from outside.
Speaking of beauty, that's the guy that's been stringing for Oregon. He's been really on a roll, and they're going to need him to step up some more.
A much-needed 3 for the Ducks, just their 2nd of the game. Obioha trying to go baseline, and there is Kepnong stepping right in front of him and drawing the charge.
I love the anticipation right here. That's just, creating a double team. What do I mean by that? You're forcing the ball baseline. You've got your body and the baseline. That's a double team down there. A lot of players don't take advantage of that. I really like the defensive pressure.
And as a coach, you love those energy plays on defense because as much as made baskets can help you get into a rhythm, it's the effort on the other end that really seems to bleed into everything else.
Well, that's been the staple for Oregon. They've always been a good defensive team, which has led to good offense, and it's always been that way. The defense is predicates what you do on offense.
Ducks hunting for a bucket. Kepnong, the kiss off the glass is good.
I told you the big fella's coming around. That looked very confident, and that's just an unstoppable play. There's no double teaming down there. That's right at the rim.
Ducks have slashed the lead to 2, a near turnover as Millette is able to control. Mitchell looking for Zedek, posting up against the shorter Harmon. And here is Young shooting the gap for the steal, and Oregon is off to the races. Harmon slowing things down. Ducks will work it around. Guerrier to his left. The dish to Kepnong, and Kepnong with the finish.
I love the unselfish play. They're really doing a great job of finding each other. They're playing for one another. Dane Altman's got to be pleased with this effort.
Whatever Altman said in the timeout, throw that in a book because it's a 7-0 Oregon run since that timeout. Here's Zedek. He's been trying to hunt these one-on-one matchups against the smaller Oregon guards. Ducks rotate Mitchell. Still looking for a three. He's the team's best outside shooter, but 0 from beyond the arc. Guerrier wide open. Kepnong trying to fight for it, but draws the foul. So it's been the energy of Frank Kepnong that has ignited this Oregon offense. They are on a 7-0 run. They have tied this up at 25 apiece against Pepperdine.
Ray loves vacations, but his diabetes never seemed to take one. Everything felt like a no. Everything. But then Ray went from no to no. With Freestyle Libre 2, now he knows his glucose levels when he needs to and when he wants to. So Ray can be Ray. Take the mystery out of your glucose levels and lower your A1C. Now you know. Try it for free. Visit freestylelibre.us.
I don't know how it's come to this. And if the sun can't break through, just let the thunder shake you. I know there's a hunger for the truth.
Representing the United States of America.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
A rich life is about more than just money. That's why at Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner, so you can build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
Well, Frank Kepnong is starting to take the wheel to this game here, Ben, and you love the energy from the big fella.
Well, watching 6'11" sophomore from Cameroon move his feet defensively, and watch what he does on the offensive end. He's really showing his hands, the ability to turn around, keep the ball up, don't get it stripped, and now he presents himself on the drive, a little bit of a bobble, but finishes it. You know, he's only taken 2 shots, but I credit Oregon's guards are starting to look for the big fella. That's something that Dane Altman and staff would like to see more of. Get their big guys involved.
And it's more than just the made baskets. It's drawing the charge. It's drawing the over-the-back foul and getting to the free throw line. And Kepnong now with 5 straight points. And how about the difference in playing time for him? Really got a chance last year when Dante goes down with that ACL injury, but has already exceeded his total minutes from last year, just 12 games into this season.
And he's made use of his time, and you know, he does a great job from the line. He's a 75% free throw shooter with those 2 made, now about 80%. So, you know, he needs to get there and get fouled. And, oh boy, there's a turnover, just an unforced, pretty much unforced turnover. Lorenzo Romar not happy. Oregon's going to put that press on. They're going to trap you and push you a little bit to see if you can get to rush, and that was just kind of an unnecessary turnover.
9-0 Oregon run led by the 6 consecutive points of Kepnong. Here's Richardson trying to make it rain. And yes, he does. So Oregon pushing the run to 12.
Well, everything's starting to work for Oregon. They're pressed now. You can't put your press on unless you score or make free throws. They're able to get into the press. I really like the press because it really shortens the clock.
Here's Millette trying to answer. No good. Ripped down by Harmon. Oregon trailed by 7. Now they've built a 5-point lead with just under 3 minutes left in the first half. Here's Dante trying to find a teammate. Guerrier back out to Richardson. Richardson wants another one. Rolls out.
So that could have really made some noise if that one went down. Pepperdine's got to slow down and get a good look to the basket. They have not had a good-looking shot.
Zidek able to rattle that one home, so that ends the scoring drought for Pepperdine.
And he can do that for him. He's got the ability to stretch the floor.
Give the assist to Mitchell, who leads the WCC in assists, and that's very impressive considering the level of competition in that conference. Here's Millette trying to orchestrate a few things on offense. It's Polk now. Wave sticking to the perimeter. Finally some penetration. Millette bump from behind. No whistle. Oregon saves it. Young, a flurry of ball moves, able to draw the foul on the floor against Mitchell.
Well, you can see the pace that which Oregon wants to play at. And Pepperdine's capable too, but Oregon's got numbers. They've got depth. And that's the way they've been playing for a number of years under Dana Altman. They really get up and down the floor, but it's been predicated off their defense. So when they get stops, they are a very dangerous team.
So the quick little note about our halftime. We'll catch up more with Dan Lanning, the new head football coach at Oregon, and also take a tour of Hayward Field, recently renovated. It'll be a site for some major track and field competitions, and we'll recap a true back and forth first half. Really both teams using extended runs in this game.
Well, it's been a good game. I think both teams are aggressive. Obviously, you're talking about two coaches with over 1,000 victories. They kind of know what they're doing, that's for sure. So it's a joy to watch these two teams play.
Lewis back on the floor trying to feed a pass to Zidek, and a little miscommunication, and Oregon will force the turnover. Richardson patiently goes up with the left and sneaks it in.
Well, that's the hand you don't want him to go to, and Pepperdine's not set on the right, his right hand, but making him go right. He's going to really finish pretty strong if he gets to go left most of this game.
Here's Lewis, the sidestep three, and that is a NBA-type shot right there, Ben.
Well, there's a good-looking player. Again, a guy that's got some pro radar ahead of him. You know, big guys that can step out and shoot that basketball catch the attention of scouts.
Richardson dumps it off to Biddle, and Biddle flushes it home.
Well, Will Richardson showing you the total game today. He's knocking shots down, but he's helping his teammates as well.
But then here is Munson on the other end as Pepperdine gets an easy one.
Just when you think Dane Altman's can relax a little bit and pat his guys in the back, you know, he knew. He saw that was coming.
When do head coaches ever relax?
No, they don't. No, I could say the same about somebody you know a little bit better than me.
Yeah.
And it's not happening, and that's why they were good coaches.
Usually the offseason as Richardson taps it back in, so Will Richardson, but a slow start. Now up to 7 points, and the Oregon lead is 4. Potentially the last shot for Pepperdine.
Well, they should play for the last, but I'm not sure here.
Lewis tied up.
Yeah, that was a break. They got it back.
Here's Mitchell, 6 on the clock. They're going to rule that off Pepperdine, so it was Oregon bitten by the turnover monster early on, but now the 12th turnover of the game
and
Pepperdine.
And the young guards are talking to the big fellas saying, guys, listen, where's the fire? We can't give Oregon the last shot. Now this is a close game, and they have a chance to go up by by 2 possessions here if they can score this.
Here's Young, under 3 seconds left in the half. Young trying to take it himself. Richardson unable to get the shot up, so it'll close 37-33. Oregon using a 12-0 run late in the first half to pad their lead, but a back-and-forth game that has been very competitive so far. It's Oregon, as we mentioned, the 4-point advantage, starting to find their rhythm on offense. We'll have more at half, including some highlights, plus we'll catch up with Dan Lanning, newest head football coach for Oregon, and take a tour of Hayward Field.
Hey, I'm going to get some snacks.
Okay.
Oh, please don't leave me again.
Gene, I said I was sorry.
You drove away and left me at the station for 3 hours.
I came back. Gene always comes back.
Yep. Okay.
That's what you should be focusing on. I came back.
Right.
Because we keep talking about me leaving. Let's start talking about me coming back.
Yep. Okay. Going to get some snack nuts. Don't drive away.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I almost did it again.
Oh, I saw that.
I'll stay right here.
What makes my neighborhood great? The folk, the people, always finding a way. There's a lot of talent in these streets, all grinding for an opportunity. The court is where we push each other to grow, where lessons are taught. Because when we lift each other up here, we all get better everywhere.
And that's how you change the game for good.
I said that's me. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
On the season finale of Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Another season almost in the books.
Yep. It's gonna be a long off season.
Off season?
What do we do in the off season?
Off season?
Relax. We don't stop existing when the season ends.
Yeah, it's not like we live in some fictional town that's part of some elaborate marketing campaign.
What would it even be for? Dr. Pepper?
We're real people. It's not like we're the ice cold Dr. Pepper guy.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Halftime here in Eugene between Oregon and Pepperdine as the Ducks wrap up their non-conference slate here on the hardwood. On the gridiron, Oregon football getting set for a matchup against Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl. But the biggest news regarding Oregon football is the hire of their new head coach, Dan Lanning, and his era starts now.
When we set out to find the next great leader for Oregon football, Dan Lanning stood out among the rest. Dan is so much more than X and O's and recruiting. A humble, hardworking, compassionate, energetic coach. And it is my honor to introduce the next head football coach at the University of Oregon, Dan Lanning.
It feels great to be a Duck. There's a standard of excellence here at Oregon. Agreed? Right? You guys have owned it, man. You made this place really, really special. I appreciate your faith, and I promise to repay that faith with sweat in the bucket. I ain't sleeping, man, until we get this thing going the way we want to get it going. I promise you, right? I love it too much. We'll operate with a lunch pail mentality. We'll be relentless in our pursuit of excellence, and we will be built on what we do, not what we say. Everything we do here in Oregon, everything we do here is going to be about what's best for Oregon. And what I want you to know, regardless if it's now, right, if it's 4 years from now, if it's 40 years from now, I want you to come back and pour into this program. Why? Because it's your program. We will build on the foundation that has already been established here, and we'll create those championship teams. This program is staged to compete and to win championships. We're gonna compete to a standard every day. Because I believe if you pour into people, man, they pour right back. And I believe if you connect with people, man, we can have something really special here. I'm talking really special. It's gonna be about the coach who's able to touch our player and reach his heart and get him to give a little bit more. At the end of the day, I'm not about broken promise. I'm not about saying a lot of things. I'm not really about talking about it. I'm about being about it. That's what I'm about.
And the schedule god scripted something poetic because the opening game for Oregon football, that's right, in Atlanta, Georgia, Dan Lanning taking on his former team, the Georgia Bulldogs. The remaining schedule highlighted by matchups against BYU and Utah at home. We'll have more from Matthew Nadarina when we come back.
Okay, JV, good game. You gonna be on tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, see you later.
Pass it! Pass it!
Yes! You wanna play one more after this?
Yeah, one more. Got him!
Oi! Keep it down!
No, you keep it down!
Sorry, neighbors.
I can't stand mine either.
When faced with a challenge, it's good to remember how you've overcome them before. Range Rover Sport, driven to another level.
I see trays of green, red roses too.
A rich life is about more than just money. That's why at Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner, so you can build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
At Oregon, we don't become enlightened by escaping the world. We get our hands dirty. We chase mysteries and dig up answers. We create for the sake of creating and make small choices that lead to big change. There's a time to run and a time to take a stand. Given the choice between what's right and what's easy, we choose the world. We choose each other. The University of Oregon.
Still halftime here at Matthew Knight in this arena, one of the architectural wonders on the University of Oregon campus, the most recent, their newly renovated Hayward Field. Let's take a look inside at the mecca of track and field here in North America.
Joined by 10th year track and field head coach Robert Johnson here at the University of Oregon. Coach Johnson, so much to talk about with the new Hayward Field construction and renovation, but we're going to Razor Bill's Barbershop and Salon. How cool is this having this on campus?
Man, Razor Bill's is where it goes down, where you can get good conversation, you get good haircuts, good mani-pedis, you name it, you can get it.
I'll take all of them. Let's go have a look. Coach Johnson, is a fantastic facility, and it opened up not that long ago, but when it opened up, you said you wanted Hayward Field to be a 365-day-a-year facility. What did you mean by that?
This was built for the University of Oregon track and field team that just so happened to host the World Championships. And so it was a facility that was designed with the athlete in mind. You can see that they're first and foremost in the thoughts of putting this facility together.
And we're in Razor Bill's Barber and Salon. I mean, come on, how many facilities in the country has a barber shop on campus? How cool is that?
Hey, I feel like I made it. LeBron got a barber shop, and so now the Oregon Ducks got a barber shop.
What strikes you the most about the design elements of Hayward?
Oh gosh, it's just the ability to weave, and they've woven all the DNA of Hayward Field into the new Hayward Field.
Do you ever sit back and just reflect, like, I'm sitting in basically the Coliseum of track and field now?
Year in and year out, you have to ground yourself in why you started doing this. And it's for the kids, to help the kids be better, help the kids be able to go to college. Athletics and track and field is just a stepping stone. Hopefully we're enriching their lives and making them better people, whether it be good or bad. Hopefully they learn something when coming through our program.
An absolute wonder here on campus. And how about the upcoming slate of meets at Hayward Field? It'll be punctuated by the first ever World Outdoor Track and Field Championships to ever take place in North America, July 15th through the 24th. Of course, the Pac-12 Championships and NCAA Championships as well. Second half action from Matthew Knight Arena when we come back.
Let me light the counter called Mama. I'm so hot to hell and I, yes I am.
When you're celebrating, keeping your devices safe and sound isn't always easy. Add affordable protection to the devices that connect us. Walmart Protection Plans by Allstate.
On the season finale of Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Another season almost in the books.
Yep, it's gonna be a long off season.
Off season?
What do we do in the off-season?
Off-season?
Relax. We don't stop existing when the season ends.
Yeah, it's not like we live in some fictional town that's part of some elaborate marketing campaign.
What would it even be for? Dr. Pepper?
We're real people. It's not like we're the ice-cold Dr. Pepper guy.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
So take a look at this. In the modern age, you've got your disruptors and your heavy hitters. Yes, we're all winners within the Conference of Champions. But at the end of the day, between the countdown of the shot clock and the surge of the smack talk, in the midst of all the crossover, there's only one team that could be on top. Only one way that the story ends. So who you got?
Now, more than ever, it is important to take a time out for mental health.
Be mindful of your thoughts throughout the day.
Embrace what you can control.
Share how you are feeling with others.
Know that wins and losses do not define you.
And remember, help is always available.
Take a time out for mental health and join us, the ACC,
the Big Ten,
and the Pac-12 in supporting our student athletes,
our families,
and our fans in making mental health a priority.
Thank you.
Oregon with the 4-point lead at half over Pepperdine as they get set for second half of action in their final non-conference game before conference play begins for Oregon. It's Pac-12 basketball brought to you by Pacific Premier Bank. Welcome in, Jordan Kent alongside Ben Braun. And Ben, much like I need to give you this pocket square that matches your outfit right here, little change of pace here for the Ducks. Frank Kepnong really leading the charge and changing things up for Oregon to help them get over the hump in the first half.
Well, and much needed because really, if you look at Pepperdine, they're out shooting the Ducks. And really, at the same time, they're even on the boards. But look what's happening with Oregon's players. They're giving up some really good defense by Oregon, getting some turnovers. Pepperdine turning it over 12 times. But look what the big fella's done. They've gotten 22 points in the paint, and the big fella's gone to work inside. He's scored on some turnarounds. He's presented himself for some dish. And Kepnong's been great for them. And Will Richardson, you can't say enough about what he's done. He just gets open on the wing. He's got tremendous range. He's playing the total game today. He's playing exactly the way Dana Altman wants him to play. He's driving it, getting his teammates involved. So it's the surge that Oregon made that enabled them to separate today.
And the Ducks doing a much better job in the second part of the first half of protecting the basketball. As we take a look at some stats, and Oregon had 6 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of game action, just 2 turnovers the final 15 minutes, and you see that they got the shooting turned around. When we come back, they always dapper Ben Braun and I will bring you second half action. Looks good on you. You can keep it.
Thank you, brother.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
A rich life is about more than just money. That's why at Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner, so you can build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
What makes my neighborhood great? The folk, the people, always finding a way. There's a lot of talent in these streets, all grinding for an opportunity. The court is where we push each other to grow, where lessons are taught. Because when we lift each other up here, we all get better everywhere.
And that's how you change the game for good.
I said that screen. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
We'll make this simple. It's time to go and get rewarded for it. Save up to 25 cents per gallon of fuel with the My76 app. That's right, up to 25 cents per gallon of fuel. That means for every fill-up, you're saving money for your next adventure. That's a reward that keeps on going. The app is safe and secure. Plus, mobile pay offers fewer touch points during payment, so you can focus on going and saving. Download and start saving with the My76 app, so you can save more to go more. 76, we're on the driver's side.
37-33 advantage for the Ducks as we begin second half play here at Matthew Knight Arena. And for Oregon, Ben, the shots weren't falling to start the first half, but they close out the first half going 7 of 13 from the field. Also part of a 12-0 run. Let's see if the momentum carries here to the second half.
Well, both teams need to take care of the basketball, that's for sure. And that's a great look by Obviously, what a great look coming out at the start of the half. That's a curl screen. Great job by the freshman point guard from Alameda, my home area there. Houston Millette, nice look.
Millette averaging 12.2 points per game, but really nice size for a freshman at that position and someone that Lorenzo Romar extremely excited about. But here is Kepnong, who dominated the first half for Oregon.
I like that they're going back inside. That's where their bread was buttered.
Fisher tries to climb the mountaintop. Kepnong there with the solid stop. Here's Young, the left-handed teardrop, bounces out. Kepnong nearly got it. Picked up by the Waves. Smith will bring things back out, and it seems like for Oregon, a lot of times they're finding their guards caught in those matchups against Zedek, and Zedek making them pay.
Great point, Jordan. That's exactly what happened there. They went right over the top. They're trying to front inside, which is really ideal, what you want to do if there's a mismatch inside, but then you got to get backside help. Haven't got there, and now they paid the price. It's Pepperdine's climbed right back in this game.
Zedek, the junior from the Czech Republic, 9 points, 4 of 8. So starting to put together a solid game, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Garriott.
Well, you get the feeling that Pepperdine's taking some of the momentum that Oregon had early, and they're turning it back around. But they're getting it done defensively. Look at the job defensively that they're doing, and that's the way they started this game. They had a little bit of a lead to start this game, then they gave it up. So they're going right back at it. The halftime has been good to Pepperdine.
Pepperdine led by 7 with 6:30 left in the first half, and then that was when Oregon started their run. So the Waves almost had full control of this game, and there's Millette missing the jumper, but again, a clean look.
Well, he hurried himself a little bit on that one.
Richardson, nice find to Kepnong, but blocked by Fisher.
Whoa. He said, not in your house, not in my house, nowhere.
Big time pack by Fisher. Short on the attempt is Pepperdine, but they're able to get the offensive rebound. Mitchell fakes the pass, flips it up. Fisher doesn't land. A little quick with that one. Richardson, the hesitation blows right by Zedek, and the Oregon bench up in arms. Really wanted a foul on that one.
Well, he sure did. Dane Altman was really letting the officials, know that he was displeased. But that's Will Richardson. That's his vintage Will Richardson, taking the ball to the basket.
Richardson, first player in this game to reach double figures, now with 11 points to go along with 4 assists.
Well, here's the play again. Jordan, you can see that he went to the basket. They thought that it was a foul on the slap down. Pretty clean to the basket, but they thought it was a little bit of a slap down. I think the officials are letting both teams play a little bit. So I'm okay as a coach when it's not being called on both teams. I'm fine with that. Just make it consistent.
And that's exactly the word that I think players and coaches look for when it comes to officiating. It's consistency, so you can adjust your game to the way that the game is being called. It's not necessarily whether or not something is a foul. It's, is it a foul in this particular game?
So that they may have a plane to catch.
So officials got to get home for the holidays too, right?
Yes.
Here is Richardson. 8 on the shot clock. Biddle, who came in for Kepnong, going up with the left, no good.
Well, those are good looks, but I think Pepperdine has just been playing really good defensively.
Smith with a full head of steam goes coast to coast and the tough right-handed take.
No, Pepperdine's not going away, Jordan. They're in this game. They're playing aggressively. They really have shown you something coming out of halftime.
Pepperdine 5-8 on the year. They have won 3 straight games, a mix of youth and experience, playing some of their best basketball of the non-conference slate. Here's Garriott down low, muscles that one in.
Again, Will Richardson, I can't say this enough, how he's creating shots for his teammates. He's blowing by people to score, but now he's blowing by people, creating help, and then he's finding his teammates.
Richardson with 5 of Oregon's 10 assists, and this is Young intercepting things. Oregon back the other way. Young putting on a ball handling clinic. Goes top shelf off the window.
Whoa. How about that for a finish by Young fella? Jacob Young to the basket. How about a little of this, a little of that, a little dilly, a little dally, and off the window of the Young family and Jacob Young fella.
Okay, Davey, good game. Gonna be on tonight? tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, see you later. Pass it! Pass it! Yes!
You want to play one more after this?
Yeah, one more.
Got him! Yeah! Oi! Keep it down!
No, you keep it down.
Sorry, neighbors.
I can't stand mine either.
Yeah, student athletes first and foremost are human beings, and they deserve the respect and admiration, quite frankly, of everybody who comes out and enjoys watching us play.
My message to the fans about student athletes is that we're all humans.
You know, we just encourage our fans to think, okay, that's my son or daughter. How would I want, people to respond to them?
We're student athletes. We don't always do everything right. Be patient with us, stay with us, and support us.
As a community, if we look at student athletes more than just the athlete part, I think that's a big deal.
One thing I would say to the fans is just to keep, doing what they do, supporting us. If we lose, they stand behind us. If we win, it's even greater. So I would say just like to keep the same energy going into the season.
Help us create an equitable and supportive environment for our teammates and me.
Go on, put yourselves through all that pain. Don't be silly. Nothing's tougher on pain than Advil. Nothing. Pain says you can't. Advil says you can.
Welcome back to Eugene, Oregon with the 4-point lead. Just under 16 minutes left in this ball game. And, well, a lot of players getting some opportunities in the NBA right now. But how about the flock of Ducks on NBA opening day rosters? If you count them, you got 8 players. And Peyton Pritchard, as of late, getting a lot of playing time with Boston. These are guys that are not just dressing up. They are making an impact on those teams.
Well, Jordan, how about Dylan Brooks going for a cool 29 the other day? These guys are getting the job done, so you can see why the Oregon program was up and advancing to Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, and Final Fours. They had some guys that could play basketball, and they developed their game right here in Eugene.
Will Richardson trying to add his name to the list. He's got 11 points so far to lead Oregon. Ducks 6-6 on the season. Had a close loss against #1 Baylor here at Matthew Knight Arena a few nights ago. Their final tune-up before conference play. Here's Fisher. Oh, denied by Biddle. And here comes Smith, who circulates a little air. Catch and shoot opportunity for Mitchell. Fisher sticking with it. Oregon battling for it.
Yeah, they had some missed opportunities there. Really good looks, point blank.
Richardson always under control. Drops another dime to Garriott.
Well, I think when Will Richardson looks back, and he will, all players look at film, he's going to see how much success he's brought to his team today, just distributing, making other players better. He's just been phenomenal.
Makes the game simple. Break down the defense, find the open man. Zidek fading away. Offensive rebound again for the Waves. Mitchell short on his shot put. Bodies Harmon to the floor. Again, multiple looks for the Waves, but they come up short.
Well, this is the pace that Oregon wants. They want to try to get you up and down the floor. They've got some numbers and some experienced guys, and they're taking advantage of it.
Richardson up top. Harmon, catch and shoot 3. Kicking it up ahead, here is Smith beating everyone to the cup.
Well, and I love the pass by Houston Millette. He just hit him in stride. That's just that's like a, and down the middle to the goalpost.
Well, that's one of those experienced plays that Lorenzo Romar was talking about. Quick, decisive action that leads to an easy bucket.
Well, you're 6'5", too. You can kind of get it over the top. But that's a freshman. Don't forget, he's making that kind of play as a freshman. Pretty impressive.
You get behind the defense, you're throwing that hand up as soon as you can. Trust me. Here's Biddle trying to go against Zidek down low. Harmon, another opportunity from beyond the arc. No good. Millette kicks it over to Fisher. Fisher to Zidek, who loves getting those opportunities to post up in the dish and flush for Fisher.
Well, that's just a great one-on-one move to create a shot for yourself, but then when you get help to find your teammates, Oregon's got to do a little better job rotating down, something that Dane Altman's been working on. He's really spent some time on that, but that's a tough play. You got to crack down and help the helper.
Well, if you love symmetry, both teams 18 of 43 from the field so far in this one. Richardson softly puts it in.
Well, he said, look, I've been distributing it enough. Now it's my turn. And he went right to the rim. No help. You got to shoot that in.
Hey, even the cook's got to eat, right?
Well, absolutely.
So Richardson, 13 points, 6 assists, pacing the way for Oregon. Smith back out to Zidek. Zidek trying to back down Richardson, spinning. Whips it with his left, and an errant pass goes right to us. Unfortunately, we're wearing blue, not any orange, and so that'll take us to break here. Oregon with the 4-point advantage, but Pepperdine hanging in there with plays like this.
This is called momentum. And there's no off-season. It's work that builds on itself. Over and over and over again.
One more, let's go.
No perfect scenario, no perfect conditions. Just a continuous journey of improvement. Through training, through competing, through recovery. Because the only way is through.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner with access to financial advice, tools, and a personalized plan that helps you build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
On the season finale of Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Another season almost in the books. Yep. It's gonna be a long off season.
Off season?
What do we do in the off season?
Off season?
Relax. We don't stop existing when the season ends.
Yeah, it's not like we live in some fictional town that's part of some elaborate marketing campaign.
What would it even be for? Dr. Pepper?
We're real people. It's not like we're the ice cold Dr. Pepper guy.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Oregon still maintaining their 4-point lead under 13 minutes left in this game, and they forced yet another turnover on the previous play for Pepperdine. That's turnover number 14, but one more look here, Ben. Listen, the player may leave the game, but the game never leaves the player. So just instinctual right there.
So I can get back underneath. I was under the scores table here. I didn't know if you were, I mean, you were an Oregon guy. I was a Cal guy. I'm not sure you had my back right there, but you did. And, interesting. You look at these stats, Jordan, and one that really jumps out at me is that Oregon now has scored 32 points in the paint. And something Lorenzo Romar talked to his team about, we can't give them paint touches. I mean, 32 of their 47 in the paint, so that's going to be a topic of discussion. It's easy to talk about. It's another thing to try to execute.
Very good point. In addition, Oregon 8-0 advantage in second chance points. So the Ducks getting the easy looks in this one, but credit Pepperdine. They're staying within striking distance. Here's Kepnong back into the game, trying to muscle Zidek. They're going to whistle him for the travel. Took one extra step.
Well, I thought Pepperdine forced that turnover because they were halfway there on the catch and all the way on the dribble. That's a good way to play post defense. You don't want to get right away because you can pass over it, but they waited till the ball on the deck. The defender came down and forced the travel. Great defense.
10th turnover of the game for the Ducks. Here's Smith. Back out to Zidek. Wide open look. Can't cash in, though. But then how about the hustle on the sideline by Lewis?
Well, officials ran that play.
Know.
Yeah, it went off him. But you know what? Those are hustle plays. And even if you don't come up with that ball, it's just, those are hustle plays. I think that any time you can make those plays, it just shows you're thinking the game. And, you want to try to create a couple extra possessions for your team. A lot of quick hands on the floor. If you look, there's just, if you coaches chart deflections, and if you charted this game, you'd see there's been a lot of deflections in this game.
To that point, Pepperdine has a 95% core values motto. It was originally adopted by Billy Donovan that said 95% of the game you're not touching the basketball. What are you doing during that 95% to help your team win, like Frank Kepnong is chasing down loose rocks? And
that's a great point. And obviously, we'll come back to that. But Pete Newell had a stat about that, too. We'll talk about that when we come back. Got a great one.
The tease from Ben Braun.
When faced with a challenge, it's good to remember how you've overcome them before. Range Rover Sport, driven to another level.
This sets up as a very big game in the Pac-12. And a perfect delivery. Touchdown.
See you later.
A game-changing play.
That's the way to get the crowd back into it.
Leave it with a W.
I've always been a fighter.
Couldn't be more proud of a group of players.
This thing's about to get really, really good.
Ray loves vacations, but his diabetes never seemed to take one. Everything felt like a no. Everything! But then Ray went from no to no. With Freestyle Libre 2, now he knows his glucose levels when he needs to and when he wants to. So Ray can be Ray. Take the mystery out of your glucose levels and lower your A1C. Now you know. Try it for free. Visit freestylelibre.us.
Time now for our Old Trapper majestic moments of the game. And how about this connection for the Ducks led by Will Richardson?
Well, he's buying the big fella, Vale Dante, and what a luxury it's been for Oregon today, in this game tonight, to go to their big guys. They're really waking up the big fellas. I think as the big fellas get better as the year goes on and their teammates recognize their strengths, this Oregon team could take off. Dana Holtman's been looking for something to provide a spark. I think he's found it.
Richardson with 6 assists as Oregon inbounds at 16 to shoot on the clock. Here's Soares back in the game. Tries to dump it off to Kep Nong and just a little too buttery on that pass.
I like it up top. You know, that's a great thought, but throw it up top. There's less traffic up there. Don't throw it to big fella's feet. You got to go to the rim. That's unstoppable. So they'll look at that, the film. They'll come back. But I like the effort. I like the thought process.
Pepperdine still trailing by just 4.
And Oregon in zone. Jordan, they're going to that patented zone they have.
One of the many changing defenses Romar told his team that they would face against the Ducks. Here's Lewis, really good one-on-one shot creator. Step back 3 is no good. Polk Jr. with the offensive rebound. Another chance for the Waves here.
That's been an Achilles against Oregon for Oregon this year, is that securing defensive rebounds.
Here's Zidek trying to go one-on-one against Soares. Rises up, cashes in the J.
They're not going away, are they?
No.
They're continuing to play.
Waves keep coming.
And waves keep coming, and they're playing hard. They really are. You got to give them credit. Oregon's playing good basketball, but the Waves are up to the challenge.
Zidek with 11. Smith also with a quiet 11 for Pepperdine. Lead is just 2 for Oregon. With 10:40 left in this one. Guerrier puts it on the deck. Richardson spinning. Shot clock winding down. Richardson trying to move his way in and gets the hometown friendly bounce.
He didn't try to work his way in. He got in there. He's having a game, and it's really been a plus for Oregon because when they've gotten late on the shot clock, he's provided the spark.
Richardson now to a game-high 15. Beautiful pass inside. Lewis can't convert. And then that is put up again by Oia Obioha, and the offensive rebounding continues to help propel Pepperdine here in the second half.
Well, that's really the drawback of being a shot blocker and a big fella. You go up for the shot block and you don't get it. You're now not able to get defensive rebounds, and so you end up watching the other teams going up to the offensive glass. And that's been, again, the challenge for Oregon this year. They're not securing enough of the defensive rebounds. If they had, they could open up and separate, but this is what Lorenzo Romar's teams have always done. You know it, I know it, having competed against them. They crash the glass, they're aggressive.
Obioha, the three-point play makes it just a 1-point Oregon lead. Harmon now running the show at point for the Ducks. Allowing Richardson to work off the ball. Here's Guerrier, the drive, shakes off Zidek. Can't get the angle on the bank shot, but that'll remain Oregon ball.
Well, those are good moves, and you don't finish those, but they're getting to the rim. They got to continue to do that and come away, as we mentioned before, with something. Get to the foul line if you can't finish the play.
Richardson loses his man, has a seam, goes up over 3 waves, but can't convert, so he'll get 2.
But he draws the foul, and again, that's what good players do. They can make something out of nothing and draw people up in the air and get to the foul line. It's a knack.
So Richardson doing a lot of little things on the floor, and you left our viewers hanging with a cliffhanger before break about something that Pete Newell said in regards to all the little things that you need to do when you don't have the ball 95% of the time.
Yeah, you made a great point. Pete Newell, he took it a step further. He said, look, in a 40-minute game, he said, how many minutes do you play with the ball? And, most people don't know it's 4. You're playing 36 minutes on average without the ball. So how's your footwork? How's your positioning? How's your ability to run the floor and do other things? There's so many other things you can do when you don't have the ball. And guess what? You don't have the ball the majority of the time.
Well, Oregon fortunate that Richardson continues to get some work done with the ball. He's got 17 points after those 2 free throws, and Oregon will be whistled for a foul on the reach-in here.
But again, you see the quick hands. You've got to really be solid with the basketball because Oregon's, and both teams have shown the ability to get in there and really pester the basketball. I love teams with quick feet, quick hands. You want to start with quick feet, but it's a blessing to have some quick hands as well.
Foul was on Harmon. Lewis, with a defender in his face, will fire, and then Obioha fouled as he gets sent to the deck by Biddle.
Well, Dana Altman, you don't have to read his mind. He's just talking. You can just see it. He's just really challenging his team to defensive rebound, box out, don't give up second chance opportunities.
Pepperdine now out rebounding Oregon, 31-27. Zidek not good on the 3. And we've seen Pepperdine really start to fire a lot of 3s since Oregon went to that zone.
Well, that's what they want you to do.
The 3 from Soares, off target. Zidek thought about it. This time wants to bring it down, draws 2. Obioha feeds it to Lewis, and Lewis is fouled. So 3 consecutive fouls for the Ducks have started to chop this game up a little bit.
Well, exactly. And, I think both teams have got to find some alternative ways. It's great when your shot's going down, but what do you do when your shots aren't going down?
So 20 to shoot on the clock for the Waves. Here is Polk getting it back to Zidek. Zidek will fire the jumper. That's no good. Rebound to Biddle. Here comes Richardson. Richardson. Pass deflected. Richardson trying to hang on to it. Gets it to Soares. Richardson. 10 to shoot on the clock. Trying to work it around, goes baseline, picks up the dribble, kicks it back out, 4 to shoot. Soares has to hurry. Guerrier, clean look from the corner. Good shot, but not the result the Ducks were hoping for.
Good possession by the Waves.
Here's Zidek. Into the paint, throws it up with 1, no good. Soares will bring it back down. Here's Harmon, beautiful find to Biddle, who rocks the rim.
Devon Davion Harmon, what a great look there. Just head up, find the big fella running. Great to reward big guys who run the floor.
Might have heard a commotion not too long ago from the fans. Security carrying out somebody that had a little bit too much eggnog here at the game, as Biddle able to intercept the pass.
That might have been somebody that refused to wear a man. Who knows?
Soares, open look from the corner. In and out. Guerrier can't keep it alive. So timeout on the floor. Continues to be a highly competitive game here between Oregon and Pepperdine. But it's Harmon to Biddle to help open this thing up for the Ducks.
Okay, Davey, good game. Gonna be on tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, see you later. Pass it, pass it! Yes! You wanna play one more after this?
Yeah, one more.
Got him! Yeah! Oi! Keep it down!
No, you keep it down!
Sorry, neighbors.
I can't stand mine either.
Hey, I'm going to get some snacks.
Okay.
Oh, please don't leave me again.
Jane, I said I was sorry.
You drove away and left me at the station for 3 hours.
I came back. Jean always comes back.
Yep. Okay.
That's what you should be focusing on. I came back.
Right.
Because we keep talking about me leaving. Let's start talking about me coming back.
Yep. Okay. Going to get some snack nuts. Don't drive away.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I almost did it again.
Oh, I saw that.
I'll stay right here.
And time now for Allegiant Airlines Together We Fly, and Ben, basketball can be a very beautiful game.
Well, how about the rim runner, big fella to the rim? I love seeing big guys just run to the rim, and you know their teammates are really rewarding the post play of Oregon, because anytime you've got 7-footers that can run to the rim, you got to reward them.
And you've seen this before. If you can get in transition, get the ball to the wing, and as a big man, all you got to do is win the foot race. There's so much that opens up in transition.
Well, and that's a Dana Altman staple as well. You know, you go to his practices, and that's all they talk about is pitching it ahead, getting it, stretching the defense from corner to corner to the baseline. You want to flatten out defenses, and you do that by pushing it deep to the baseline. You can't throw it to the mid-post or the wing extended, but if you throw it to the baseline, now the defense has to come all the way out, and then you've got openings inside.
And to your point, in transition, when you're coming back on defense, it is very confusing, because especially if you're trying to fall back in man, it is chaos when you don't have numbers. 5-point lead for Oregon. It's been a 2-possession game for the majority of the second half. Pepperdine has been able to hang with Oregon. Waves looking for their 4th consecutive win. Ducks trying to get to 7-6 before they start conference play after the break. Lewis, a little indecisive in the air, dumps it off to Obioha, and another point in the paint for Pepperdine.
Well, Oregon's playing pretty deep into the clock. That's the good news. Bad news, though, is they've just given up a couple right at the end. But I think you'd rather have your team playing solid defense for the entirety, and you'll work on that. But they're really putting some pretty good pressure on Pepperdine. Pepperdine just a little bit tougher.
Neither team has hit a 3 here in the second half. Richardson, the cat-like crossover, can't convert, gets his own miss, goes up again. There's Biddle right there.
There's nothing like height, and you're 7 feet. If you just go to the offensive glass, you're going to get rewarded. But it starts with Will Richardson. He's able to get to the rim, which causes the problem.
So Biddle with 8 points coming into this game, averaged less than a point per game. Catch and shoot. Polk from outside, and the drought continues. Young trying to weave his way through traffic, gets held up. Lewis, a big time hesitation, and they might not even let you get away with that in the NBA.
Well, I was going to say, you might have seen that in Portland here and there, but you're right. That was a pretty good rest it in your hand and move. I was wondering how he got so open, but you know, again, the turnovers. You give Pepperdine credit. They've been pretty good with the ball, but now you give back an opportunity, and this game's too close to give away opportunities. Oregon's done a better job not turning it over this half, so I think both coaches have really hammered their team about taking care of the basketball.
It really has been a possession-by-possession game here in this second half. Richardson leading all scorers with 17 still. Harmon, relatively quiet night for him. 1 of 6, just 4 points, trying to get things going. And the tough night from the field continues, but it'll be Oregon's ball on the side.
Well, they were able to keep the ball alive with some tips. And, you know, that's where you want to tip the ball on the offensive end. Defensively, you always want to go 2 hands. But offensively, if you're going to get to the glass, you can use 1 hand to keep it alive. Good effort.
Richardson cutting on the baseline. Here's Biddle. Feeds it to Richardson. Guerrier thought about posting up. It's Young this time. Quick spin move, but the block by Obioha. And Lorenzo Romar loves the energy and the rim protection by Obioha.
And what's not to like about this? That's just a racer on the backboard. That's a great save at the end. It looked like a sure two.
6 to shoot. Guerrier has to force that one in, and a tough bucket.
Now, Oregon shows you the ability to make some hard baskets. Not every team has that. They really can finish some degree of difficulty shots. And in today's game, you have to be able to finish at the end of the clock.
Largest lead of the game for the Ducks, but then quickly eliminated as Lewis reins in another three.
And I've said this before, but there is some pro potential in that young man. He's got the ability to play at the next level, and you see why.
Lewis didn't join Pepperdine until September, thought about entering the NBA draft and just preparing for that and taking a year off, but late on his commitment. Out of bounds as Fisher got caught, straddling the end line, and it'll be Oregon ball.
Well, one rule would help these big guys, Jordan, is if they just can keep it from going on the deck. Every time they put it on the deck, bad things happen. Keep it up. You can get the shots up, get foul calls, but if you put it down, the guards love you to go from 7 feet to 6 feet.
Richardson tries to go by, fouled as he goes up. This really feels like the point in the game where Will Richardson can control things and get the best shot possible for Oregon, whether it's getting to the free throw line or setting up his teammates.
And that's what Dane Altman wants, of his senior. He really wants to see the ability to get his other players involved, but also just to take control of a game. He's always had players that can do this. He's just waiting for guys to step up, and Will Richardson's in that position as a senior. He's really got the ability, to help. And Dane Altman's going to talk to his senior and just encourage him a little bit. But I think he likes him taking control. You really want players. You want to encourage your upperclassmen to take control of the basketball game.
And Richardson really in a nice groove at this point in the season. Struggled a little bit in November when Oregon had those offensive woes of not even getting to 20 points per game. He's had at least 15 to 18 points in 6 of his last 7 games now.
He and Harmon have been mainstays for their team. They're really coming on.
Here's Lewis, loves to create his own shot, picks up the rock. Smith on the outside, he's in double figures. Nearly lost the pivot foot, dumps it down to Obioha, but there is Biddle with 2 rejections in a row for the youngster.
Not once, but twice.
Richardson trying to find a seam and sneaks it in with the left.
He didn't just tell him once, he told him twice on the other end. And that, look what it did. It brought a basket on this end for the Ducks, defense to offense.
Oregon really trying to bust this game open. Richardson with the steal. Young trying to get open, saves it. Here is Richardson. Oregon just trying to slow things down. A chance to take their largest lead of the game with under 4 minutes left. Here is Young trying to work the 2-man game. Knifes his way through, and that'll be more free throws coming for the Ducks. We'll step aside for a moment, but it seems like Oregon trying to close things out as Nate Biddle. Go in there and get dirty, young fella.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
A rich life is about more than just money. That's why at Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner, so you can build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
What makes my neighborhood great? The folk, the people, always finding a way. There's a lot of talent in these streets, all grinding for an opportunity. The court is where we push each other to grow, where lessons are taught. Because when we lift each other up here, we all get better everywhere.
And that's how you change the game for good. I said that screen, here we go, here we go, here we go.
On a Suspicious Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Howdy, Logan. Wonder if you can help me out with something.
Sure, Sheriff.
Looking for a couple of goalposts. Went missing after the big win last night.
What?
That's awful. Who would steal a goalpost?
Say, that is a nice new swing set you got there.
Oh, this old thing makes the boy happy, I guess.
Interesting design.
Oh, yeah, it's Scandinavian. You know what? You should check the streakers across the street. They have a very suspicious new antenna.
Thanks for the tip.
Anytime, Sheriff.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Pac-12 men's basketball is presented by Pacific Premier Bank, the official bank of the Pac-12. And brought to you by Allegiant Airlines. Together, we fly. Back here in Eugene at Matthew Knight Arena, Oregon leading Pepperdine by 6. About 3:38 left in this game. Ducks trying to close things out. It's been a 2-possession game for the majority of the second half, but now Jacob Young headed to the line. Chance to extend this, and so far what we've seen, Ben, is Oregon just pushing the pace, and their defense has really fueled their opportunities on offense.
Well, and they've also scored inside. 42 paint scores. That's just a phenomenal stat, and yet they're only up by double digits. So, you know, give Pepperdine credit. They're hanging in, but Oregon really has had their way inside, and they've also created points off of turnovers.
So during the break, the foul was changed to a foul on the floor. That's the 4th on Fisher for Pepperdine.
This is a big possession. If you're Oregon, you got to get a good look and see if you can separate right here.
Young tries to turn the corner, goes up with the left, and rolls in, so a huge bucket for Oregon.
Well, he didn't get the free throws, but he came back and he got the basket. I think he'll take that any day. That's just a great effort by Jacob Young.
So Young in double figures with 10 points, and the Oregon lead is their largest of the night at 8, but then the quick answer by Smith.
Pepperdine, we've said this all night, they don't go away. They're not going to go away. They fight, and Oregon's going to have to win. They're going to have to pull out. They're going to have to separate here down the stretch. It's not going to be given to them.
Richardson, a game-high 19. Young attacking again, and that is picked cleanly by Lewis. So Pepperdine a chance to cut it to a 1-possession game. Here's Obioha trying to go baseline. Here's Lewis. He'll fire a 3. Rebound to Harmon. Harmon, Richardson thought about the 3. Richardson, cross-court pass. Young all day. That would have been a huge one for the Ducks.
That was a good look.
Lewis trying to step through, finds Smith. Smith, no good on the 2. Chased down by Obioha, saves it. Waves up to pick up the pace. Mitchell can't fire the jumper, and Oregon with another stop.
Well, I think they're going to say now, and Dane Altman is just imploring his team, hey, guys, we got the ball in the lead. Let's get a good one, and let's not turn it over.
Deflected out of bounds, Oregon ball. That was almost you that had to catch that.
Listen, I owe you one. You've showed me some things today. You've saved me on one, and you threw me an assist on the pocket square. You know, Jordan, I didn't know this about you. You got game. You got game away from the game.
So you're saying I didn't really wasn't in bold type on the Cal scouting report back in the day?
No, I didn't know. You had this unselfish string in you. No, I joke around. You've always been an unselfish player, and you've done that in everything you've done. But you know, you've thrown assists, but that was pretty big. I don't think I've had a pocket square to match like you gave up. You gave up your pocket square for me. Huge.
Hey, anything for another Pac-12 brethren, my friend.
Well, we
really, almost got the same tie as me earlier today.
That's unbelievable. I had that tie picked out.
Right?
And I couldn't.
Get the blue one.
I had the same tie as you, and I said, no, I'm not going to get that because I think that you weren't going to wear that tie. And sure enough, you did.
Well, it would have looked good on you. Wouldn't have not bothered me at all. So
I don't have the brown, so I think your color coordination is better. I'm not the same, but I got your pocket square. I gave it back to you, but I'm gonna save it for another day. But Jordan, it's been fun. This has been great. Listen, I got to be your campaign manager. I got to tell our audience because everybody's stopping by here. You're like mayor in Eugene. You know, your dad was mayor a long time ago. Now you're the new mayor.
I guess it runs in the family for the most part.
Just let me be your campaign. I can get you elected here. But we've had some fun, and it's great to have you back. I'm sure the fans are happy to see you back as well.
Well, it's always good to be here. The play is reversed, though, so they're going to rule that off Oregon. Pepperdine's ball, so even though the last possession was empty for the Waves, they'll have a chance here to make this game a little bit closer. Minute 50, still a lot of basketball left here.
There's an eternity of time, and I know Dane Altman's talked to his team about, look at guys, let's not let's not give up an uncontested. Let's keep guys in front of us, and please, let's rebound. No offensive putbacks or reloads.
Crunch time at Matthew Knight. Zidek, blocked by Biddle. What a read by the freshman. So Nathan Biddle here in the second half, just waving his finger left and right at the Pepperdine Waves. That's his third block of the half.
Not the Mutombo. Now, I'll tell you, he's had an impact on this game. There's no question. His impact has been huge, not only offensively, but he's affected shots, and right there blocked a huge shot, because if that shot goes down, you're talking about a one-possession game.
Oregon with 5 blocks to Pepperdine's solo block this game. Now it's Richardson.
Now they're going to work the clock as long as they can. They're going to take the entirety here.
9 to shoot. Richardson looking for his spots, going one-on-one, tries to set up Guerrier. Here is the dagger, and there is Quincy Guerrier busting open this game for Oregon.
Well, you know, Jordan, I think this Oregon Duck team better take Will Richardson individually out to lunch, dinner, whatever you got, because he's been there for his teammates today repeatedly. Not only has he scored, but he's really created opportunities for his teammates.
Guerrier, a huge 3, his first of the game. That is the 7th assist for Richardson. The lead is now 9 for Oregon, their largest of the game. Just over a minute left.
1 minute remaining in the game.
Here is Smith. Pepperdine got to move quickly here. He'll try the long 2, bounces up high, and that is a foul on the floor against the Ducks as Fisher was going to tap it in.
Well, again, as good as Oregon's playing, again, you're looking at the challenge they're going to have. They have got to go and secure the defensive glass. Now, they're fortunate they're up 9 with under a minute to play, which is not going to secure a victory. But, you know, those kind of plays can really hurt your team, giving up those second chance opportunities, because it stops the clock, allows you to shoot and set up your press. So, you know, that's something that Dane Altman and his staff have really been harping on. They spend so much time on it.
Well, when Oregon can consistently score, it just allows them, as you mentioned, to set up that press, and that just really is the bread and butter of their foundation, getting high-quality shots that lead to easy looks and then slowing down the other team.
Well, it's taken them to Final Fours. I mean, and that's been something that's Dane Altman's really, you know, done, and a lot of coaches have taken out a page of his, you know, from his playbook, and that press has been such a big part of their team effort over the years. But now if you're Pepperdine, you're going to have to try to, you know, again, elongate the game, stop the clock, try to create some more possessions. So they're probably going to play the foul game.
Let's check out the upcoming schedule for Oregon. You've got Colorado and Utah at home, at Oregon State, and then how about the road trip that so many teams in this conference are going to have to deal with? Number 5 UCLA, number 8 USC, just 2 of the 3 teams in the conference been ranked in the top 8, and then it'll be a home matchup against the Washington schools. And really the depth of the Pac-12 has shown out with how top-heavy the conference is right now.
Well, and interesting, too, Jordan, you look at it, Oregon is 0-2 in the league, and they haven't been down like that for much, but they're going to come back, and they've got a difficult schedule. But I think you don't want to look ahead to see who you're playing. It's really about how you're playing. We used to tell our teams that all the time. Don't worry about where you play and who you play. Let's just make sure we're playing at the best of our ability, and good things happen.
Oregon trying to inbound it, and that'll be out of bounds. Pepperdine ball, so the Waves generating the stop.
Well, that's why you stop the clock. That's why you try to stretch the game. And Dane Altman, you know, worked on this. Believe me, they worked on this in practice, running the baseline, shortening the angle of your pass, and it just didn't get done. And, you know, it happens in the game.
Zidek, catch and shoot 3. They thought he was fouled. No call. Offensive rebound. Zidek will dish it over to Mitchell. He'll put up the 3. That's short, and so Pepperdine struggling from outside tonight, and Oregon dodging a few tidal waves themselves.
Now, and you know, you got Lorenzo Romar applauding his team's effort, and I love that about Lorenzo. That's what good coaches do. They're probably not going to come away with the win, but boy, they've had opportunities. They had Oregon on their heels. Oregon had to play one of their better games of the year to get this win, and that's a credit to Pepperdine for showing up here with effort and energy.
5th foul of the game on Keith Fisher, so he is gone. Fisher will finish his night with 8 points, 6 rebounds. And Oregon about 42 seconds away from picking up win number 7 on the season, and still some basketball left, but this is a really nice win for Oregon potentially, because now you go to the holiday break with a win, a good feeling, and a chance to be refreshed to gear up for conference play.
No, it's a huge win, and you know why do you want this win? Because it does lead into the conference. It's your next game. You're as good as your last game, and this is their last game before they go in. So they really want to get this game. They wanted this game badly. They came out with great effort today. They got down, but they didn't hang their heads. They played, and you know, I really like the fact that Mr. Will Richardson now has earned our jockey difference maker.
And Richardson, the 19 points, 7 of 14 from the field, but really just controlled the pace for Oregon. And the number of easy looks he gave his teammates, especially in the second half, really allowed Oregon to just maintain control of this game.
Well, the coaches, again, are going to be very pleased with Will Richardson and what he's done for his team. This is what they've been looking for. They've been just challenging him to do this. They're waiting. He's, you know, sometimes he's not as aggressive as maybe they'd like him to be, but not even aggressive. He's an aggressive basketball player, but they want him to get his teammates involved. They want him to step up and use his leadership. He's done that tonight.
Harmon at the line, strokes the first one, so he's up to 5 points. It was a bit of a tough night shooting for Harmon, 1 of 7 from the field, coming off that 18-point performance against Baylor, and Oregon actually scoring more points against Baylor than any team has this season. And listen, no coach loves moral victories, right? But you've got to be somewhat encouraged by the effort you saw against the top team.
There's no doubt that game helped them in many ways. That the effort level they put forth, I think you can build on that, and they have built on that.
Pepperdine, not much clock to work with. Oregon switching all the screens. And that is Zidek tied up down low, and that's something you don't want to do late in this situation, is foul the other team.
No, and Pepperdine's finding ways, but you know it's going to be a little bit too little, too late. But they've had an effort here, and again, Oregon had to play good basketball to beat this Pepperdine Wave team. So, you know, where do you go if you're Lorenzo Romar? You build on this. You played a good schedule. And he's no stranger to Pac-12 basketball. He's been in this arena many times. He knows what Oregon can do, and this was a good game for his Pepperdine Waves to come in here and battle.
Zidek tied with Smith for the team high at 13 points now, and Pepperdine will continue to foul to try and extend this game, and that's what you do when you're down just 3 possessions.
Well, you know, you mentioned something about the Pac-12 this year. It's a good time to really reflect and talk about, obviously, everybody's talking about USC, Arizona. You know, you're talking about the teams at the top. But at the same time, you've got to say now there's room for these other teams to come around. And you know, if you can just get a string going. Sometimes you just build, and it takes time to build up your team. But there's obviously there's room for Oregon to get better.
And Dana Altman will be the first one to tell you that as well. And when you're bringing in the transfers, as we mentioned, with all of these coaches across the country trying to handle that, it's getting players that have came from different systems on the same page on a new system, which I imagine doesn't happen overnight.
No, and it's something that's newer, Jordan. It wasn't happening years ago. You didn't see as many transfers. Now it's a way of life.
So that's going to be an offensive foul against the Waves as Polk comes crashing through, and that'll give the ball back to Oregon, up 9 with 24 seconds left. So we'll see what Pepperdine chooses to do, but
you got to get set, and they're just a moving screen. So, and you talk about the Pac-12, but the WCC's been on an uptick. This has been probably the best year they've had in years, and they're very good from top to bottom as well. So you see a lot of good teams. I root for college basketball. You want to see every league get better. You want to see players getting better. We had a great game today, and good to be back on the sideline. Always better to see you here than having a coach against you and the darn Ducks. Never liked that, but we've had some good games. We talked about that, but great seeing you and fun doing this game.
Well, Ben, great doing the game with you. We'll put a ribbon on this one as the Ducks get the victory, 68-59 over Pepperdine, led by Will Richardson and his 19 points to go along with 7 assists. Oregon really coming alive in the second half, and some great energy and defense from the big men for Oregon. I really felt like Kepnong in the first half and then Biddle in the second half, their presence down low, their ability to generate block shots, some hustle plays, spark some of those runs for the Ducks.
Nothing like size, and Oregon has plenty of that. So we'll see if they can continue to build on this, but this was a big win. Make no mistake about it.
Oregon will improve to 7-6 on the season as they get set for Pac-12 conference play, but that'll close things out from Matthew Knight Arena as the Ducks are victorious, led by Will Richardson. The final tune-up is over now for Oregon, and they are set for conference play. For myself, Ben Braun, and our wonderful crew, thank you so much again for joining us. Have a safe and happy holiday.
Some things are impossible to fully comprehend in the moment. A miracle shot, a body in flight, a fan's unbridled passion. One student athlete's ability to alter the culture of a nation. A conference's drive to continuously be on the forefront of change. In the Pac-12, we celebrate our victories like everyone else, with banners hung for titles won. But we also pay tribute to the victories that don't come with banners, the successes that change the fabric of society and amplify our voices far beyond the playing field. This is who we are. It's the X factor that unites all Pac-12 universities. The progressive spirit that distinguishes our student athletes, faculty, and fans from all others. When our doors were shut and gyms locked, we embraced the power of our podium to make real change. Our faculty continued to make groundbreaking contributions to science. Our student athletes continue to speak out for those unable to speak up for themselves. Once back in the gym, on the field, the court, and in the pool, we put actions to words. Adding another 8 NCAA titles to our nation-leading 537, and bringing our tradition of winning to the highest stage. Pac-12 universities have never shied away from setting the bar high. Our relentless pursuit of athletic success and academic excellence remains unrivaled. Our reputation as a premier destination of higher learning continues to rise. Our ability to inspire new generations of civic, cultural, and entrepreneurial vanguards is world-class. On campus and off, we are using our talents to contribute to a culture of equity, diversity, inclusiveness, and collegiality. This is the Pac-12's legacy. These are the passions driving Generation Next. This is our X Factor. So yes, we raise our banners like everyone else, but we raise our voices as well. We celebrate our victories, but also the legacies our student athletes leave behind. We marvel their achievements, but most of all, we admire the resilience, open-mindedness, and bravery they champion. As professional athletes and professionals, as advocates and activists, as business leaders and as humans. This is what it means to be the Conference of Champions. Pac-12, the Conference of Champions. In the Pac-12, we celebrate our victories like everyone else, with banners hung for titles won. But we also pay tribute to the victories that don't come with banners. The progressive spirit that distinguishes our student athletes, faculty, and fans from all others. This is who we are. It's the X factor that unites all Pac-12 universities. Pac-12, the Conference of Champions.
Pride is power. Pride is just being authentically yourself.
I'm trying to find community where I can support learning of others, where we can all grow.
I don't think you ever get a peak performance of an athlete without embracing who they are as people.
Visibility is important, pride events are important, but it's ongoing education. It's having these conversations, and that's why the Pac-12 being a leader really empowers so much more to happen.
A game defined by conquerors, passion, grit, determination. A game represented by revolutionaries, players with an unshakable need to be the best. For themselves, for their team, for their future. And it's all amplified here.
Pac-12 Hour Stories takes you behind the curtain, bringing you the most compelling and emotional stories from around the Conference of Champions.
It was a moment of like, he's here, he's with us. We can have a little bit more closure.
Pac-12 Hour Stories. Watch the latest episode anytime on Pac-12 Now.
Presented by Carvana.
Champions aren't instantaneous. Champions are made over time, with years of hard work, determination, and every step, leap, shot, and risk they are willing to take. There's something in a champion's DNA that drives from within, pushes limits, exceeds expectations, and knows what it takes to lead. It's who we are, what we stand for, and what we've always done. That's why we proudly celebrate the female student athlete, the national titles, the Olympic medals, the achievements of every day, because the strength and the power that are women's sports continues to be elevated by this conference, the Pac-12, the Conference of Champions.
Full action.
Touchdown! Yes!
Marshall time.
There's the shot. What kind of speed do you have?
Catch football in 60 anytime on demand.
Well, with just a couple days before the holiday, there is no question that snapping a 10-game skid would certainly be a great early present for this Oregon State squad. Tonight, the defending Pac-12 tournament champs welcome in the defending Southland regular season champs. It's Pac-12 basketball presented by Pacific Premier Bank as the Beavs welcome the Nichols Colonels to the Willamette Valley. Great to welcome you inside Gill Coliseum, everyone. Alongside Dan Belamini, I'm Ben Creighton. And Dan, Wayne Tinkle said it best during Pac-12 Media Days a couple months ago. This Oregon State squad coming off that Elite Eight run may face some tough losses while trying to overcome some adversity. As a coach, how do you really ride the ship and try to overcome these early season struggles?
Not easy, but what you have to do is you stay positive, you work hard in practice. This Oregon State team has talent. They have to find a way to finish games and win.
Now, if there is one bright spot for the last couple games, it has been the lights-out shooting from Jared Lucas, one of the top three-point shooters in the conference right now.
Well, Lucas has been unbelievable. You watch Jared in his game. He's a tremendous perimeter player. Look what he's done over his last 3 games at 50%. By the way, 12 of 24 coming off of a big game against Texas A&M. So I think Lucas, definitely the catalyst to this team. He has to come up big tonight.
Now, if you want to continue on the theme with three-point shooting, look no further than what's on the opposite bench for this Nichols Colonel squad. Ty Gordon, now the 3-time Southland Conference Player of the Week, for good reason.
Gordon's a tremendous player, and certainly someone that Oregon State's going to have to contend with. Gordon's a guy that can make threes. He can take it to the rim. He's strong. He's active. This is going to be a very difficult game for